Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. Chinese netizens recently discovered that a number of Chinese experts associated with the COVID-19 vaccine or virus study have passed away suddenly or mysteriously in the last 2 or 3 years, and some of them at relatively young ages. These include the following 7 people. Number 1, Wu Zhunyou, 60 years old, chief epidemiologist at the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Wu Zhunyou was interviewed many times by Chinese official media during the COVID pandemic and strongly supported Xi Jinping's zero-COVID policy in the name of an expert. He also spoke highly of Chinese vaccines on many occasions, claiming that the safety of the Chinese vaccines were guaranteed and their protection rates were as high as 80 to 90%. In an interview with People's Daily and other official media in 2021, he also said that in the past year, China has developed a set of preventive and control measures, and that we are confident in preventing a resurgence of the pandemic. On this one, he was clearly wrong, and COVID is still continuing to spread in China. He died on October 27, 2023. The publicly announced cause of death was pancreatic cancer. Number 2 is Cao Xiaobin, 45 years old, senior manager at the Government Affairs Center of Beijing Sinovac Biotech Company. Cao Xiaobin was known as the king of Sinovac vaccine and was also a student of Wu Zhunyou, with whom he collaborated on a number of papers. Cao Xiaobin died on April 17, 2022, at the age of only 45 years. The publicly announced cause of death was advanced cholangiocarcinoma. Sorry, so difficult to pronounce this word. I hope you understand. The day before his death, Yu Lumin, director of the Beijing Health Commission, was expelled from the party and public office. Because Cao Xiaobin's position was the senior manager of the Government Affairs Center of Sinovac, he was responsible for dealing with government departments, and Yu Lumin, before his fall from office, had made a push to include the HPV vaccine in the national immunization program. So when Cao Xiaobin died, people speculated that his death might be related to the fall of Yu Lumin. After all, Cao Xiaobin was only 45 years old, and he suddenly died the day after Yu Lumin was expelled from the party and his public office. It was too much of a coincidence. In addition, as I previously reported, an internal document dated January 9th of this year showed that the production of Beijing Sinovac's CoronaVac vaccine has ceased, leading the company to decide to suspend performance-related bonuses for its employees. It also seems suspicious to me that production was ceased altogether, given that the outbreak is still going on and the CCP has just recently given emergency approval to several other vaccines. So the complete shutdown of Sinovac vaccine production and the sudden death of Cao Xiaobin raised the question of whether there is something suspicious going on behind the scenes of this vaccine production. At the very least, people are saying that they suspended the production of Sinovac to avoid being held responsible for the health damage or adverse consequences. Number 3 is Professor Wu Jianguo, 66 years old, virologist and director of the State Key Laboratory of Virology at Wuhan University. Wu Jianguo once studied for degrees at the University of Idaho and Princeton University in the United States. He later returned to China and became the director of the State Key Laboratory of Virology. He passed away on October 3, 2022, reportedly still working in the laboratory until his last moments. Due to excessive fatigue, he experienced sudden cardiac arrest, leading to his sudden death. According to official reports, he had been closely following the research on the transmission and pathogenesis of COVID-19 during the global pandemic. His research results include the mechanism of cytokine storm induced by COVID-19 infection. According to the Institute of Medical Microbiology of Jinan University in China, Wu's team published a series of research studies. A vaccine delivery system promotes strong immune responses against SARS-CoV-2 variants and inhibition of PIK5 kinase interference SCOT pathway to suppress RNA virus replication in the Journal of Medical Virology in January 2023. It was said that the study reported a highly efficient vaccine delivery system that can induce strong humoral and cellular immune responses against multiple variants of SARS-CoV-2. This provides new insights for the development of COVID-19 vaccine. Number 4 is Zhao Zhendong, 53 years old, researcher at the Institute of Pathogen Biology, Chinese Academy of Medical Sciences, and head of the technical support team in the Research and Development Special Team for Vaccines of the State Council's Joint Prevention and Control Mechanism. The official report said during the period of fighting against the outbreak of COVID, Zhao Zhendong stuck to the front line of scientific research and worked continuously for more than 200 days, and on the evening of September 16, he fell ill on his way back to Beijing after an academic conference and eventually died on September 17, 2020, at the age of 53 due to his office duties in Beijing. The official report also said during the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, Zhao Zhendong completed a 6-month non-stop task of screening antiviral drugs for COVID-19 and constructed a platform for evaluating the replicative capacity of COVID-19. He also participated in the emergency drafting of the general requirements for biosafety of vaccine production facilities by 5 government departments. He made a significant contribution to the advancement of vaccine research and emergency use in China. He was called the most important behind-the-scenes hero in vaccine research. Number 5 is Zeng, 52 years old, deputy mayor of Dalian City and vice president of Sinopharm. Zeng Bin ranked 5th in China's Sinopharm group. He served as the spokesperson for the COVID-19 vaccine project and went to Wuhan to participate in the epidemic prevention for 51 days in the early stages of the Wuhan epidemic in 2020. On December 2nd, 2020, his team of COVID-19 vaccine clinical trials arrived in Lima, the capital of Peru, to start the third phase of COVID-19 vaccine clinical trials. According to official reports, he spent 18 months in Peru, overcoming all kinds of unimaginable difficulties, ensuring that the clinical trials were carried out in an orderly manner and completed smoothly, providing important guarantees for the conditional listing of COVID-19 vaccines and making outstanding contributions to protecting the lives and health of the people. In June 2022, he was promoted to the CCP Stalin Municipal Standing Committee and Deputy Mayor, but on July 23rd, he suddenly died. The reason announced to the outside world was a heart attack. Taiwanese media used the following headline when reporting his death: was he killed because zero COVID could not be achieved? Sinopharm vaccine is one of the main COVID-19 vaccines made in China. According to official reports, this vaccine has been widely used in countries such as Mexico and Brazil. Number 2 is Bai Xiaohui, 42 years old, Deputy Director of the Department of Clinical Medical Laboratory of Shandong First Medical University Province Hospital, Shandong Provincial Hospital. She died on March 20, 2022, after being unable to be saved due to a sudden illness. Clinical experts initially diagnosed her with cardiac arrest. According to official reports, her work and achievements were mainly in the field of COVID testing. By optimizing the process, she greatly improved the efficiency and capacity of the testing. She led her team to increase the daily testing capacity to 30,000 samples. She has led her team to support Beijing, Xinjiang, and Shandong Weihai, and had trained testing personnel in various places. In the end, she died of exhaustion on the job. Number 7 is Liu Bin, 37 years old, vaccine expert from the University of Pittsburgh. Liu Bin was killed at his home in Pennsylvania, USA on May 2, 2020. It was reported that he was on the verge of making significant progress in coronavirus research before his death. Shortly after his death, I also hosted a program discussing the relationship between his killer and the CCP. Now, more than 3 years have passed since Liu Bin's death, and I have not found any follow-up reports on the case of his death. I also do not know whether the U.S. authorities have clarified the motive of the killer who took his life. The killer, 46-year-old Gu Hao from China, had close ties to the CCP. After shooting Liu Bin, he also killed himself. I estimate that since the perpetrator is also deceased, the U.S. authorities may not have further investigated. Therefore, the reason why Liu Bin was killed may remain an unsolved case. In summary, the above are the sudden or mysterious deaths of researchers related to vaccines or viruses summarized by Chinese netizens. If there were only 1 or 2 cases, it might be considered a coincidence. However, the fact that so many people experienced similar situation does raise suspicion. Perhaps until the origin of the virus is thoroughly understood, the true cause of death for these 7 individuals may remain a mystery. Well, that's all for today. From now on, I will make more efforts to produce members and donors exclusive or early access shows. If you feel like signing up for membership or making a donation, please visit my website at jenniferzengblog.com. Otherwise, please help me spread the word by subscribing to my channel or sharing my videos. Thank you. See you next time.